Hey, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers. This is Module 6, our last module, and we are now texturing our sci-fi module, our hallway assets. And I just got through with the model prep work UV mapping video where we added color IDs basically to all the faces. So I ended up with eight different materials. One's going to be a LED screen, and then we've just got regular two variants. And so we're going to be laying out the UVs for these, and we're going to be using the materials to do that. So all that work we did assigning materials to faces was not a waste of time. I'm going to show you how to easily now take these materials, lay them out in a UDUM tile configuration. Alright, first thing we're going to do is just get rid of this guy right back here. We don't need that anymore. Alright, so let's focus on the largest piece. That's what we usually do, and try to get the textile density taken care of first of all. What's nice also about doing color ID with materials is the fact that we can go in there and easily select them again. You're thinking to yourself, well, I did all that work, now what? Well, it's really quite simple. We're going to go and use the Hypershade. Now we haven't used that this semester that much because it's not really needed as far as inputting textures, because when you go to Control A, you will find that you can get the same controls that you would in the Hypershade. Now, when you get into manipulating materials attributes a little closer, and you're not bringing it to Substance Painter that much, that's when you need to go into the Hypershade. So I'm going to show you a little bit on the Hypershade just really quickly. Again, this will be covered in depth with later courses. So I'm going to click on the Hypershade and just give you kind of a run through what this is and how to use it. So the Hypershade basically shows you the materials that you have in your scene. Okay, so this is basically what you're seeing in your scenes for materials. And before I added the materials that I did, the Arnold AI standard surface shaders, these shaders were just Lambert, okay? The gray, basic gray, and that's what that is. And you don't ever want to delete that, okay? Just leave it as is, and just ignore the other ones here. Alright, so we're not going to go spend a whole lot of time in the Hypershade, like I said before. This will be covered in later classes. But one thing I do want to say that I really like about the Hypershade is that it does give you a preview, and you can rotate around in there as well if you want to, zoom in and zoom out. And you can also go into hardware, go from hardware to Arnold. I really don't see a difference. You know, obviously it has the same things in here that I have over here. So if I select an object and I go Control A, this allows me to go into my texture as well. So I don't go into Hypershade unless I actually have to. So I wanted to try to get you organized, and there are things that I don't want you to do. Some of you may try to do this, and it might cause some problems for you. It actually takes a lot more work to do things faster. But they're sloppy and they're not efficient, and can be a real problem. You know, I know there are times where we're just scrambling trying to get things done, but not at the cost of how the object will look is not a good idea. So UV mapping is a very important part of this process, so you don't want to really rush it. Unfortunately, it can be a real problem if you try to rush it. One of the things you need to really think about is how are we going to start? What should be our textile density for this piece? So let me give you an idea how this all works first, okay? So, what we're going to do is, for this to work, you need to be in object mode. So you're going to select everything, okay, right? So in Hypershade, you can see, what's nice is I can see all of my materials that I've applied to the object, right? The nice thing about this too is that I'm able to select something and right click over and go select objects with material. This is a nice attribute that I don't have going into the attribute editor, right? In here in the Hypershade, this allows me to do that, which is time saving, okay? And that's why we did the color ID in the first place. So this is kind of a tip and a little trick I've learned over the years working in the industry that I'm going to pass on to you guys to make things a little easier for you. So with that done, I'm going to go into component mode, okay? And we're going to turn this component mode into face mode, okay? That's important, all right? So with that check mark, so if you need to stop and pause the video and go back again to listen to that, there's a certain sequence to get this to work, okay? I'll do it again. So select object mode, right? Both this one and selection, right? And then marquee select everything, all right? Once you do that, you want to go into component mode, okay? It may go into face mode right away. It may not. It may go into vertex mode like you saw. All you have to do is right click over it and go to face mode, right? With that done, then you're almost there. Then you right click over. All you have to do is hover over the material. So that's why you need to name them, and right click and go select object with material. And if I hit the 4 key, notice that everything highlights with the burnt orange material, which is amazing, which is awesome. All that work you did now paid off. Now you can see how easy it is to select everything. Now in the front view, I can now easily go in here and deselect the ones I don't want to actually UV map right now, okay? Let's say these two will fill up, I feel like these two will fill up one UV texture space, okay, one UDIM tile, okay? I don't know that for a fact yet, maybe, but so it's one of those things that it's trial and error too, right? You know. So let me get rid of this. Now you know how to use the Hypershade and how that works. Let me move it out of the way so I can concentrate on UV mapping now. So UV editor. Okay, so now we're into this mode here, where I can actually go in here and go in and let's go ahead and do the UV automatic map. This is what we do first, and I'm going to go ahead and reset it, and that seems to work out just fine. Project, okay, and then I'm going to move them out of the way right away, okay, just move them out of the way, and then of course, you know, go into UV shell, and now you can select them as a shell, and now you're good to go, and we can put them anywhere we want, okay. And I was right, it's good, it's packing very nicely. There is some some pieces that are overlaid, and that's just Maya being kind of cranky, and so at least we got those, okay. And then you can move forward, you can move on, and this is how you would do it, just like we did. There's no difference now. The thing that is saving us right now, let's go back to UV shell, is that now we can pack them the way we want them. We're only doing 2 at a time. We're not doing the whole bunch of them. And it's nice that we can click 2 or 3 of them now. Of course, I would concentrate on just 2 at a time, and I would concentrate on just the material, one material. So you would probably want to bring out like a Word document or something and go in here, and you know that it's 1001 all the way to 10010. Let's say we want to take this and we want to put burnt orange all along here as one material, right? And so that's really important that we have a Word document that tells us that from 1001 to 1010, then all of everything in between is going to be burnt orange, right? So when we go to Substance Painter, we know exactly what we're doing, okay? Which is really cool, okay? So all you have to do now is do that for the rest of them, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more group, okay? And then I'm going to let you guys go with it, okay? And if you get stuck or have problems, you know, go back to the beginning of this part and watch me do it over again, okay? And I'll do it over from scratch again here real quick. So select, okay? Go to selection mode, click off, and click on object mode right here. So I'm going to select everything again, okay? And then I'm going to click on this little guy here with the component mode, right? Click on the component mode. And I may or may not be in this the right face mode or not. Doesn't matter, because I can right click over and go to face mode. Okay, you don't have to highlight anything. I don't want you to highlight anything. And then you can go in here to hypershade. Okay. And then I'm going to right click over this again. Okay, go to select objects with material. It's going to do that. Okay. And then what do? I go to the front view. Alright. And in the front view, I deselect everything. Okay. Deselect everything except for these two right here that I want to lay out UVs for. And so now I'm in the UV editor. Now I'm going to go into UV, automatic mapping. Okay. I'm going to move them right out of the way, hit the W key and move them out immediately. Okay, like that. And I have overlapping UVs. I know that. This is just the first part of this whole thing. And we're going to move these, let's say we move these things up a little higher, right? Okay. Like this. Perfect. Great. And then you keep going, right? Right? So that's what you do. You continue moving things, and then when we get to that point where we need to, I'll pause the video, and I'm going to have you do just the whatever color that you want to do, and we'll line them up, and I'll show you what to do next, okay? And then you can go on to the other colors and do the same thing with the other ones, and then so on and so forth until we get it all done, okay? Again, I'm not going to waste time doing every single one of these, okay? It's pretty easy what I'm doing, and don't worry about the how the UVs are laid out. There's bad UVs here. They're over top of each other because they don't fit within the UV space properly, okay? So I'm going to pause this, and we'll come back, and I'll have all of my burnt orange done, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, so I'm back again, and what I did was I did these two, these two, these two, and then these three, this one, and these two, and then these two. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 UDIM tiles specified for just the orange. The burnt orange, okay? I'm sure this is going to turn out to be 6 after I have to go through everything and make sure they're laid out properly and pack those in myself. But these are the groups, okay? That is the entire grouping of the burnt orange, and that's how easy it was. It didn't take very long at all, okay? Looks like I missed one, unfortunately, on this one. That kind of stinks. So somehow that got messed up. So I need to find out this grouping here. So it was these two right here. I need to redo that, and that's easy to do. If you miss something, something goes wrong, and maybe that was something that I forgot. Oh, I did too, and I forgot to fix this thing. I did that in the last video, but let me. Those things need to be fixed first. So I'm going to fix this real quick, and I'm going to pause, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I fixed everything right here. Just reassign those materials to those particular faces. And so let's go ahead and go back again and select all of my objects. Go into component mode, right click, go into face mode. And now we're ready to go, just like that. And what we're going to do is I'm going to again just right click over this, go select that object with material, move that back out of the way, and so I can see what I'm doing. And then in the front view, again, I'm going to re-texture those because I have to. Just deselect these, deselect the door without deselecting anything in there, and just go back in here and redo that. So I'm going to go to, let's say I did those two, okay. So UV automatic map, and let's bring those back up again. I'm not sure what's happening with this little guy right here. What is that? Where should he be? That's the question I have. It should be with this one. So it should be in this one right here. So let's go ahead and put him back. There we go. And let's go ahead and, so we've got the first two, right? These two, and then these two, and these two are right here. Okay. And then I have this one and these two put together, so 3. So I got these 3, right? The doorway, and those are right there. And then we got the last 2 over here. Alright? So that's the burnt orange that we have. Alright, so that's done. So you got all the burnt orange done. Now you're going to move on to the other colors. So you just keep doing this. So this is going to be the first row, and I'm probably going to use more because I'm going to pack this myself because that's really important. You guys know how to pack, so I'm not going to show you how to do that. Just make sure everything is the right direction. So if you decide, for instance, that you want it to represent the way it looks, let's say this piece right here represents the way this is actually angled, right? It's up and down. You don't want it to be like this. So if Maya packed it like this, you want it like this. Okay. So if Maya packed this part sideways like this, you would want to bring it up like this. So everything's flowing the right way. That's what you want. You want everything flowing the right direction. Okay. So that's where Maya has a problem, because this is not flowing the right direction. Obviously, this goes across, and this is going up and down. So I've got to go and make those changes. That's not a big deal. Okay. So all we're doing now is we're separating the burnt orange, the colors that I added, the visual colors I have here, into their own groups. Okay, that's the first thing. So I'm going to do that with the rest of the groups. So I'm not wasting your time. You know how to do it now. I'm going to pause and come back, and we'll show you how to put them all together. All right. So let's get all the colors done now. When you get those done, and just kind of put those somewhere else, not with these, and just remember where you have them. So this is the first row. Then we're going to do the second row, and then third row we're going to do different colors. Okay, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, I'm back. Just to give you a heads up, what I would suggest that you do, I know some of you guys might be scratching your heads going, okay, so if I have all of these UV shells to be burnt orange, we just need to make sure that you remember those are the burnt orange ones. That's what's important. And then when you go through the hypershade, everything's set up for you. All I have to do is click off, go to face mode, and go ahead and I would probably go right down the line as they are shown right here. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit more, maybe extend that a little bit. There we go. So just go right down the line. So I did burnt orange, but you could, and that could be the top ones, and then you could do blue screen right here, and that's mine. I mean, I don't know what yours is going to be, but select object with material. And there's not much selected. I can just go right into UV mapping and do automatic, and I can hit the W key, and there's my blue screen, right? Okay. And then click off again, because everything's ready to go. This is how easy it is. Right click over my gray, go select objects with material. Now this has got a little more in there. Again, it's simple, right? I want to only select the ones that I need to use. So let's go ahead and go into this mode here, and to see where everything's at, where they're all at. I don't have any dark gray in the first one and the second one. I might be able to do all the dark grays all in one unit, right? So let me see if that works. There's only some big areas there that I need to worry about, but other than that, they're just little areas. Okay, so I can go in here, go to the front view, and just do UV, automatic map, and then hit the W key and move it up, and that's all my dark pieces, dark gray pieces. Okay, again, I'm writing all this down, okay, where things are at. The top is burnt, and I could easily go to blue screen. Let's go to UV shell, select that shell, and move it up and put that on top. And then just move this one up. So now I've got blue screen, burnt orange, dark gray, and then I'm going to go to the door metal, so I'm going to click off and right click over the door metal, select object with material. It does. I can do this all in one piece. I'm going to go to UV, automatic map, and hit the W key and move it up and over, and this is the door. That particular material, door metal. So now I'm doing it in a row, and this is easier for me to remember. So I can click off again. Floor texture, right click over it, select objects with materials. Those are easy. I don't know if I can do it all in one with this, because there's a big space right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and automatic map it that way, and then pull them apart and do what I need to do with those. So right now I'm just getting everything automatic mapped, and hit the W key, move that over. So there's that part. Click off again. So there's the floor, medium gray, that's a big one. So I'm going to go and select it and UV map it. And this is how easy it is once you get started, once you get going. And now I'm going to hit the W key, move that out of the way. Now they're overlapping and they're horrible right now. We'll fix that later. And so that was, I even lost track. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was medium gray. That was a big one. And then off-white is a big one too as well. So click off. And let's right click over off-white, select object with material, and what we're going to do is do the same thing, automatic map. Okay, great. And again, there's a lot of overlapping. I'm not too worried about that. We're just getting this done as fast as we can. And then we've got the pipes left. Okay, so click off again. Right click over here and go to select materials with those materials on it, and we're going to go into automatic mapping, and then we're going to go into go ahead and move that out of the way, and that was it. That's it. Okay, so now it's basically going in here and finding what I should have as far as tile density, because right now, let's go ahead and check that really quick. Let me move this out of the way. I don't need this anymore. We're all finished with that. So now I got them all in their groups, and now I've got to start laying out the UVs properly. So now they're all separated. Okay. And let's see how bad it is. Let's hit the 5 key, and let's go ahead and go to object mode, and right click and go to selection mode and select everything. And let's click on the checkerboard. Alright, so let's see which ones are the worst. Okay, so not too bad. I see a lot of discrepancies between some of the colors, right? And my has a hard time with that. So let's look at this this particular one. Click off that, and this is the object, and this is where we're at with that. So here are the UVs for the orange. Now I know that's the orange because that's at the top, right? And what's cool is I can see all the UVs that are associated with this one object, which is kind of cool. So I know I've got the burnt orange. I have, it looks like the panels, Maybe those are the dark areas, but those are the dark areas there, I think. Anyway, so the idea is now the UV shell is find out what they are. Do we like that packing on that? And so if that's the case, then this is the next step. Okay? So next step is textile density. Finding out what your textile density should be. Let's go ahead and open this back up and move back across over here. And let's check it out. So textile density, what is it for that? Let's get it. Ooh, that's 60. That's big. That's huge. If you remember our that's a lot of texture space there, which is good because our gun I think was around 24 maybe if I'm remembering right. So textile density. So what would happen if we did textile density at 60? Let's just go ahead and do 60 as a nice round number. Okay. And what will happen to the rest of these? Okay, are they going to get huge? Are they going to get small? I don't know. I think that's too high, to be honest with you. Let's do something like let's do something like 40. Okay. And let's go ahead and that's 40. So what we're going to do is you're going to go out and select everything. And let's see what this looks like here. So go to selection mode, go into object mode, and select everything, and that will open everything up for you. Okay, so once you get everything opened up, we need to make sure we are right-click over and go to UV shell. Make sure we're in UV shells now. So everything is in its proper order. Okay, mine is in its proper order, coinciding with my materials. So I'm going down. So my first one is my blue screen, my burnt orange, and my dark gray, my door metal, and so on and so forth down the row. And you can keep track of everything by a Word document. Okay. And so the next thing we need to do is we need to kind of find our textile density. Okay, what is it? Let's find a piece that I think would work really well. That's the side of this guy right here. Let's move him out of the way so we can see what's going on. Textile density right now is at 39.9. It was at 60. I changed that in a different video and kind of ran into some issues, so I went ahead and changed that. So we're going to set this at 40 and see what that ends up with. So let's go ahead and hit 40 and set it. It's already set for 40, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I select. We need to be in UV shell for this to work, and set that. We're going to go ahead and select all of these UV shells here, just one row at a time. Don't do all of them. And then set. Okay. And then we'll select these pieces and set. Okay. And we'll select these pieces here and set. Okay. Select these pieces here and set. And so on and so forth. Select those, set those, and select these and set, and select these and set. There we go. So all of them are set, and let's go ahead and once we set those, let's click on the checkerboard map, and now we should have everything set up, and they are all cohesive. They're all the same exact size. Don't worry about stretching. Like I see stretching right there. There's going to be some stretching, but is this the texture size we're good with? Okay. So that looks pretty good for this size of model. I think that looks pretty good. Just through experience, I can see that looks really good. So we're going to keep that at 40. So now that the textile density is set, now you're ready to pack. So what I would suggest that you do is you find the row, or we got the textile density set. Now we can't scale or make these smaller. Now let's say when you're packing that you run into an issue let's say I pack this real quick. So I pack this one, and I pack this one, and let's say we have a small little piece that you'll never see, maybe the bottom, right, that you'll never see. So you can take that, you can either delete those, the bottoms of those if you want to. You'll never see them, so you can delete the bottoms of those, and that would be fine. That's probably what I'm going to do, delete the bottoms. So I'm going to go ahead and pack these up, and this is my orange. Now I don't want anything overlapping, okay? That's really super important. So I'm going to pack all this stuff, delete the bottoms that I don't need, and pack this myself. Okay, I'm going to do that for all of my pieces. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to pack your stuff, because you can do that yourself. You need to be responsible for how you pack your work. Okay? So if there's any issues, you just have to look in the mirror and make sure that everything's within the 0 to 1 UV space. And I want you to do that for all your pieces. I'm not going to sit here and waste your time and video record and have a huge, 2-hour movie of what this should be. Okay? And you need to make sure you pack them and arrange them that makes sense to you, right? This does not make sense because it's not facing the right direction, right? So you get all that taken care of. Use all the tools you need to use. Arrange and lay out, right? We have tools here on Orient Shell. So I get it started and orient the shell. Once I get it started, I can orient and then move it into place. So now we're packing. Okay? You got them all laid out. Now you just need to pack them, and pack them the way you want them to be packed, however you see fit. Okay? That is up to you. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, I'm going to pause this. When I get my first row done, then I'll... Okay, I'm back sooner than I thought. One thing I want to make sure that you understand, not only do you need to get them positioned correctly, you need to get them rotated so you know which is up and which is down. So go to UVs, select the top row, and you'll see it up here. You can see it right here on the object. So that is correct. That's not only facing the right way, but it's rotated the right way. So those two things you need to make sure you get taken care of. I go to UV, okay, and then that's at the bottom, and this is at the top, so I know that that's correct. So just do it for those shells, and you're good to go. Okay. So I'm going to go back to UV shell. That's where you need to be, and continue to pack. And I'm going to pause this, and we'll come back as soon as I get all this done. Alright. Okay, I'm back, and I ran into an issue with this little guy here. Whenever I run into an issue, I'm going to pause and get back into talking about it. So this issue here is that we've got a really strange angle. Okay, so let me talk about planar mapping and how we can change that. I'm going to go, what I did was I selected the UV shell, okay, and those UV shells are this part right here, and I know they're also stretched really bad, so I'm going to hit the, and you can see that some stretching there. That's really stretched really bad right here. You can see that. So I'm going to fix that real quick. It's very easy to do. I'm going to go to UV, and I'm going to go to best plane. Okay, right? So oh, it looks like we need to select the UV shells again. Let's click. Okay, stop. Hit the Q key. Go back to where we were. I'm going to use something else. So I'm going to click those. Go to planar mapping. And best plane here, project, there we go, there it is. And so I'm gonna move that out, okay, move that down. Now it's not the right textile density, but it is correct, okay, and I'm gonna rotate that, there we go, and then orient, there's the shell. I'll click on the shell again and hit the Q key, and what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go ahead and set that and get that the right textile density, and you can see that I fixed that now, and I'm going to move that into place, okay, and you're going to have pieces that are angled If they're not straight, like this piece right here, you might have to redo, or this part right here might have to redo. You might have some stretching right there. So that's how you fix it. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to pause it and continue. Okay, we're back, and just to let you know, just kind of see my progress. So, the material burnt orange is Udym texture tile 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on and so forth. So basically I have written down 1001 to 1006 burnt orange. So you're going to continue like this throughout, and I'm going to stop the video. We're going to go to part 2 on UV mapping, and basically you'll take each section and you'll go from left to right, and then you go up to this column from left to right, and you just keep filling them up. And this is what my pack looks like so far. Okay, not too much dead space. This one's the worst one, but we're good to go. Okay, so you know, if I wanted to, I might try to put these together, but you guys get the idea. So my next section is, I believe, I need to get my windows in there. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that. Move these over, change it, and get the windows in there, so the blue screens. Okay, and those are going to be by themselves. Unfortunately, that's going to be a lot of wasted space, but that's part of what the deal is with Udym, so we'll go ahead and deal with that. And so this ends part 1 of UV mapping, and I'll see you in the next in part 2.